Hola, my lovelies. Bienvenido, me llamo Ali. So, we are here today with a new review. So, first off, like always, I want to give a shout out to music composer Ben Sound. So, all of these fancy tunes that you guys hear at the beginning of our videos, the review videos, is done by music composer Ben Sam. Now, he allows you to use his music because it is free music. Now, there's a difference between royalty free and royalty free music. Try saying that fast. But anyway, so basically when you buy royalty free music, the royalties and like the author or the composer of the music, I believe, still gets money off of that every time you use their music. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's you have to cut them into a percentage. Just like royalties, like if you do a movie, if you were if you were an extra, then you get no royalties. But if you have a speaking part on a film or television show or whatever, you get royalties uh, every time that show airs, or me as the author, or you, or like some of the authors that we are representing, every time you buy their book, they get royalties from that. But he also has free royalty free music, which basically means you owe nothing. You have to pay nothing. But what you do have to do is give him his props, which is what I'm doing right now. So every time that you hear a video from us, the music in the background is by music composer Ben Sam. Now you can check out his website and basically go through it, find anything you like for book trailers. You want to do a little commercial info for your channel, whatever it is, you can find it on his channel, from rock to classical to jazz to funk to whatever. He has all of these genres, and basically you need to give him credit in your videos. So whatever it is that you're doing, that's his licensing for you, is for you to do what I'm doing right now, giving him his props, because it's his music, it's not mine. So check it out. Go over there. I'm telling you, his music's awesome. I've actually used it for some of my book trailers, especially the Ariana series, because he has this one section that's called epic, like epic movie scores or battle tunes. And so because you have vampires fighting werewolves and this dark council and light council, it's pretty cool, the music that I can put to these trailers, because it gives you like that dun 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 dun, and so you're suspenseful when you're watching it. So I really love it. So you guys make sure you go over there and check out bensound.com for all your musical needs. Now, just a few things before I get started into this review. Looking at my little notepad there. Okay, so we are doing reviews right now, but I want, because we're getting more and more submissions for the channel, which I believe is like just completely sweet. But there are some parameters because of the fact that I have all of this stuff going on right now. I'm not able to really come on the channel and do it like the justice that it needs right now. So remember, we are taking all submissions, whether you are full length or your short story. You can come on into the channel right now. And when I say all indie authors, what I'm really meaning to say, because I noticed, I told Jen to revamp that the post for all of you people who came from Facebook and Twitter and all of those. Yes, we are all inclusive, sort of like, except for. And the only reason why we're doing this is because Jen like linked me to a post of a author who was asking about nonfiction. And his question was legitimate, and I was cool with that. But it was the person who responded to his actual post that I kind of felt like that wasn't necessary. She went on to basically tell him that no one cares about nonfiction authors. all of us are pretty much stuck up because we don't accept them, we don't listen to them. It was like, to me, it was just kind of not cool. And so I really like the advice that Jen gave him. Jen told him, start your own channel, because basically, if no one's giving non-fiction authors love, then you give them love, which is the main reason why Jen and I started this channel in the first place, because of the fact that we wanted to give indie authors a spotlight because we felt like they weren't getting it. And basically, you know, if people were doing indie author reviews, then 9 times out of 10, they were an afterthought, or like they would go and do big, huge, popular authors first. And then, oh, by the way, I found this really cute indie book that actually happened to be good, which you guys all know that indie is trash. That's usually what would come after that. And so we started this channel because we wanted to showcase and show people that indie authors can freaking write. You know, they are good authors. I mean, the guy who wrote Hemlock Grove, come on, he was an indie author. And so basically, most people are indie before they get a publishing company. And having done both, I feel like, yes, I may not get as many sales because I am an indie author now, but I kept my integrity and I kept true to my series and I kept who I was as an author, because literally a lot of minority authors, when they sign on to a company, the first thing they want to do is change us, change our characters. And like the Hunger Games, she was either black or Hindi or multiracial, but because mainstream wanted to put her out there and make her a more accessible character, they made her white. And so I refuse to do that because Ariana is Latina. She is Afro-Latina, just like me, and which is the reason why I started these books in the first place 9 years ago, was because I wanted to see people like me in the books that I read. So, that being said, everyone is welcome on this channel. It does not matter what your race is, as long as your work is good. As long as you are confident in who you are as an author. We will never not feature Caucasian authors because that's bad. That would just be turning to do what they do to us. And so basically that's not who we are. You know, I mean, I have Irish blood too myself. So I am a multiracial person. So I would never ever do that to anyone. So, that being said, once again, I just wanted to update you guys on what's going on. So, even though I'm only reading short stories right now, which basically fall between 80 and under pages, please don't be discouraged. You can still send us your work, because what's going to happen is July 10th, that's when I'm going to start on all of the full-length books. It's just that right now, with the constraints of time, with me having to do, you know, my own series and get my own shit together, I basically don't have the time to read the full length. So this is why I'm asking for short stories right now, because I can read those like that. And so make sure that you are sending in your short stories as well as your full length. It's just going to take you a little bit longer to get your full length on the air or on the channel, because I won't be finished until the 10th of July. All right, and second, basically the gift card is still out there up for grabs. We have a $50 gift card going on right now. There is one this week and then next week, and then basically the week after that is when I will draw the name from whoever's out there answering, you know, asking questions. It might just be something as simple as, hey, can you guys review so-and-so, because I really want to know how this book is before I buy it. Or, hey, I really like that video, it was cool. Or, hey, I really didn't like this video. Why would you review this book? It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, just so we know that you're actually out there watching the channel. And it's not even so much listening to me, but just know that you are out there so we can interact with you, because basically this summer we're going to have some cool prizes coming up, and I would really love it, if I could hear from the actual readers out there. Now, authors, unfortunately, you're kind of like excluded from the prizes because of the fact that we're trying to get more readers to come in and watch your guys' videos. You know, because with us doing the gift cards, then not oftentimes than not, the reader will see a good book on here and then go out and purchase that book. And so we kind of feel like you're getting the perks that way. So hope you're not upset with us. So it's basically only reader eligible. Okay, and then lastly, once again, who we review. Because someone else was upset because we didn't review Christian literature. And so the comments, I'm not going to even speak on them because Jen makes it a point to smack me when I do. I'm just going to say I'm sorry you feel that way. We personally don't have anyone here who reads that. So even if we might have a viewer who might actually like to pick up your book, you're going to be it's going to be an uphill battle for you to even get one of us to read it because of the fact that we don't read that. It's not anything against you as an author, anything against the genre. People like it. People feel encouraged by it. Me, it's just not my thing. And I don't want to be preached to by someone, unless I'm sitting in church or unless I'm listening to someone I feel like, I might have an interest in. But I don't go to church anymore. And so I have my reservations and my issues with that whole churchiness. So I'm never reading that. So I'm just going to be honest with you. That if that comes directed to me, I'm not reading that. I just don't. It's not my thing. And I just feel like it encompasses on other people. And so now Jen might give it a read, depending on what mood she's in. Erica would read it, but then I would get a call and her recriminations. I read this book and Lord, girl, I need to go to church because I was just... So no one wants to feel that way. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying your book is like that, but no one wants to feel that. We have enough in the world right now going on, especially with coronavirus and an idiot for a freaking president, that we don't need that added whatever to it. So we just don't review that. I'm sorry. And then nonfiction normally comes in self-help or self-analyzing, and people have a hard time doing that on their own without someone else telling them to do it and then telling them how they should do it. Now, I'm not saying every every nonfiction book out there is self-help, but the vast majority of it is. So we just don't have anyone who, and that's what it all boils down to, literally, is we don't have anyone who wants to read that. Now, say within the future, because our channel's still young. We just got it up in December of 2019, and actually December 30th. So we're not even 6 months old yet. So basically, we, in the future, we might get someone who wants to read them, and we will totally accept them then, because then they will be the one reviewing them and critiquing them. But just right now, everyone who's on the staff right now, Jen, Erica, Minnie helps when she can, Debbie, there's 5 of us. I'm the face normally because I'm the author. Jen has social anxiety issues, so she's not coming on. And then Erica just unfortunately right now can't find the time to. But once, things start getting less busy for us, then hopefully you'll see some switch ups, which is the reason why we're asking for the reader guest spots. So lastly, before I get into this review, because I've taken freaking 15 minutes with this, we are asking for reader guest reviewers. So if you are interested in being a guest reviewer on the channel, readers only though, please hit us up at Multicultural Romance Latina and basically tell us what the review is about, what book it's about, and then also remember your language, the vernacular in which you use and you speak. You cannot use profanity, and you cannot use anything sexually. If you are reviewing an erotic romance, please keep that portion of it out of the review. You can talk about the hotness, you can talk about the characters, you can talk about all of that, but you cannot talk about the sex, because unfortunately, until we get recognized by YouTube, we have to stay a PG channel. Now, if you want sizzling hot content, then you can go over to my channel, which is Multicultural Romance Author Alexandria Infante, because I'm not trying to get that channel recognized. That's just my own channel where I give my thoughts, I talk about my books, my series, who I am as a person, and then I will talk trash all the time. So you would have to go over to that. Once again, that's Multicultural Author Alexandria Infante. So that's where that is. But here I have to keep the decorum. I can't use language like that. Like every now and again, you may see me slip once, but then I'm just like, so. And that's pretty much it. That is our update. If you would like to submit to our channel, once again, we are reviewing full length in July. And right now, from now until July, we are reviewing short stories. So we stopped reviewing the full length because unfortunately I don't have the time. And we are doing short stories right now, 80 pages and under. And then on July 10th, we will pick up the full length books. So you can submit that to Multicultural Romance Latina as well. For both of those, the email is multiculturalromancelatina@gmail.com, and that's all one word. And it's not case sensitive. So now, after I took up all that freaking time, tonight's book is called, just one second, Pearlene's Love Story, prequel, Pearlene's Gems, and it's by P.L. Van Bibber. And here is the cover. I hope you guys can see that. Okay, now this is a short story. It's 50 pages, and so I'm pretty sure there's an actual book out there because it says prequel. So it doesn't have more than 50 pages. So what it is, Pearlene is a she is like a darn it. Sorry, I hit video. She is a financial analyst and planner. And so basically, she grew up in Georgia. And she really admired her two oldest brothers. And her brother Junior, which was pretty much named after her father, he got in some trouble. And so he got hooked up. He was with these two other guys. And they did a burglary. And so when it came down to it, they got the two minority kids got arrested, but the white kid, he got arrested too, but he got like lesser time, and whereas the junior kid got like a significant amount of jail time. And so it pretty much turned him bitter, and so at that point he hates all white people. And then her father got killed by a drunk driver, and then the drunk driver just happened to be white as well. And so that pretty much cemented his feelings toward white people. This is I'm so sorry, this is an interracial romance, contemporary romance. And so he pretty much hates white people, after that. And basically, puts them all in the same boat. And so now the other brother, he is he went to school because the first brother he got when he went to jail he got his bachelor's degree, and so he came out doing some sort of tech whatever, but he like has that animosity, and so the second brother he went to school and then he became like he like opened up like some sort of cleaning service or something like that. And this all takes place in Georgia. I'm not exactly sure if that was what he did, a cleaning service or something. It was something along those lines. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. And so basically she goes off to college and she knows that she needs to take care of herself. And so once the father got hit by a drunk driver, the father was a janitor. No, that's right. It was the father. The brother was like, yeah, that's what I thought. The brother was like some sort of tech something too, I believe. Some sort of medical tech system or something like that. And then the father worked for janitorial services, and he was on his way to work one day and he got hit by a car, and it was a drunk driver, and then the drunk driver happened to be white. So this sort of pretty much fueled the older brother Lewis's hatred of white people. And so she goes off to college, and since her father died, she realized that, she didn't want to put that stress on her mom, so she decided to get a job and, make ends meet, because she was smart enough to get like a buku buttload of scholarships. And so she didn't have to pay for college, but she knew that, just everyday life, she had to take care of herself too, because her mom had issues. Her father had died. The father had a really good insurance plan, and so she was able to live comfortably because she had like a supermarket job, and so his insurance paid the house note off, all of that stuff. And so the mom lives comfortably, but she didn't want to like go outside of the mom's means by having her give her money and that kind of stuff. So she goes and gets like 2 jobs. And so she graduates, and then she takes like this little nest egg that she had with money that she was saving, and she decided to invest it. And so by the time she graduates, she has a little nest egg of money and resources. And so she takes a job into this actual world because taking the class, she liked it, and she felt like, okay, I'll just make this as my major. And so she works for this, like financial analyzing planning place. And so she gets this big tech guru, and like through the years him and her become like really good friends, or they have a really good business rapport. And so you could say that they were friends. And so she keeps asking about his brother, because his brother never comes to the meetings when the brother is like really and truly the honcho. And this brother is like, he's like, okay, I'm going to take care of all the business side. And the brother's like, I don't have time for that. I'm just here to make the money. I need to make sure this tech is right, blah, 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 blah. Because it's some big, huge, they invented like some sort of antivirus something software. And so, and it's mainly geared toward like banks and, government facilities and that kind of stuff. So they made buku bucks. And so he keeps his mind on like the technical issues and that kind of stuff. And then the younger brother, Josh, he does all of the FaceTime stuff. And so Brad likes to stay behind the scenes. And so basically they have this one night where there's this big party, and then she goes to the party, and then she meets him, and then she reminds him of some painting or like some museum exhibit of Nefertiti. And then but she's dating this other guy named James that she just started hanging out with. He's a doctor, he's an African American man, and she's thinking of settling down with him. But then this guy wants to go out with her. He says that he can't. She says that she doesn't date, clients and that kind of stuff. And so she pretty much like blows him off, and then he like sends her flowers for like 3 weeks, and then there's some misunderstanding with the assistant, and then basically that's where I'm going to stop. Okay, so now the book itself was, the story up until that part for me was, I don't know how to say this. Okay, I have an issue. And I don't know, maybe because I'm Afro-Latina, I'm not getting it. So, I'm just going to say that because I'm not understanding how the majority of these books are fueled by race. I understand we live in a tumultuous time. I understand that black men cannot walk down the street without having some, you know what, try to kill them or something like that. I completely understand that. I may be Afro Latina, but I still got that black blood. And when I walk into some place, unless I open my mouth, especially like in New York, that would never happen to me. You know, people don't care about this, the majority of them in certain neighborhoods. If I look like this, they know I'm either black or Latina. And so they coming at me like, yo, what's up, ma? Blah, 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 blah. White people, there are a lot of white people who live in those neighborhoods in New York. You have white people living in the Bronx. You have white people living in Harlem. Gentrifying, but but you have them there. So they're not going to automatically, assume something. The vast majority of them. I'm not going to say all of them because you have Karens everywhere. No offense to our, cool white people out there. I'm not trying to be racist. The issue that I have is when race fuels your book. I feel like you are alienating an entire population of people. I don't feel personally. Now, remember, like I said, this channel is my opinions. These are my opinions, and everybody knows, what do we say on this channel? Opinions are like, what? Exactly. I personally cannot understand how you use race to forward your book. And I'm seeing this, the more that I'm reading Black, White Men and Interracial, the more I'm seeing this. And so I don't understand how that needs to be played into the book. We know that is out there. You right now, especially with Floyd's death, you cannot not see that. If this would have happened in a lot of other countries like Brazil, Puerto Rico, you would have people rioting in the streets, exactly like what happened in Minneapolis. I'm sorry, but America was built on revolution, so people would be reveling in the street and tearing up some stuff. That's how you get change. I'm sorry. I feel like personally, a lot of times we need more Malcolm than we do Martin and Rosa, even though I love them both. And if I offend someone by saying that, I'm completely sorry. But sometimes in just like in our tumultuous situation in standing in America right now, I kind of feel like we need that. But I don't feel like your book needs to express that unless, especially if you are including another race that you are attempting to show love to. That for me is a problem. And so, although I like this story, I thought the premise of the story was cute, especially how he pretty much stalks her because he was like, I'm getting this woman. I felt like that was cute, but I didn't like the fact. I feel like she was attempting to show the other side that, African American people can be prejudiced because minorities to me they can be very prejudiced. Racism and prejudice is oftentimes used as semantics, but not one person of color has the ability to oppress entire peoples, to systemically oppress them to where they can't get a job, where they can't make the same means of a living as you do. So this is why a lot of people of color will say, I'm not racist, but I am prejudiced. And so I don't feel like you should use those factors to build your relationship on. I mean, we see enough of that in the real world. When I'm going into a book, I want to escape that BS because that is what I live with every day. I don't want to read it. I mean, this is just my opinion. People can accept my opinion or they can't. But I don't want to read that, And so I feel like when you use that as the catapult for your book to forward your story, I feel like you're just cheating yourself as an author because you can come way more correct than that. There are so many other other ideas and tropes that you could use. She could have stopped it at one being poor, one being rich. That's an antagonistic right there. The mom, the parents. She flipped the script, so she made the African American parents prejudice because the brother had been fueled by this hate, for white people most of his life, and then the setting is Georgia itself. But I just feel like it could have been a different troop. She could have been like, why are you with those rich people? It could have been something like that instead of why are you with a white man? And so, I don't know. I just really hate to see that in books because I feel like African American authors, y'all got some amazing talent. You got some minds that are so freaking creative and beautiful. We do. Because I'm Afro-Latina, so I got some African blood. And you have these minds that are so beautiful and creative. And we get enough browbeating and racist crap every day of our lives. Because believe me, I've been called a couple of Puerto Rican B's. Other whatever spics and whatever other names you want to, the N word, all of it. But I don't want to read about that unless it's a historical, where unfortunately for a lot of historical troops in that time period, it's up until after the 70s. Anything before that, I'm sorry, that word is prevalent. So excuse me, I expected there. And even though it wasn't said, I just don't like it's just me. I don't like the parameters of that because I feel like we are way too freaking intelligent to use that as our trope for why we do. Sorry. Something's like in my throat. But I just feel like we're too intelligent to use that as our trope for forwarding our book. And so, if I had to say anything that I had wrong with this book, it would be the play up of race. I didn't think it needed to be in there. It could have been the brother had issue with them because they had money. It could have been a person who hit the father and he was rich, like hella rich, so he got off. And it could have been the money aspect. I just didn't feel like she was marrying a white man. And so I didn't feel like that needed to be the reason why she was catapulted into this white family and became like a daughter to the mother. Why not just let it be because she was a good person? And that even though the mom was white, money had not corrupted her. She was rich, but she was still a decent person. And I just feel like race didn't need to be, the catapult for the story. And that's just my opinion. So if I had to give this little short a review, I would give it 3 stars because of the fact that it was a cute little story. And I'm assuming that there is a next book because this one was called a prequel. But I'm giving it a 3 stars because it was a cute story. But there were a few technical issues, but not enough to take you out of the book. It was like maybe where it should have been there as in THE. This is just an example. That's not what was in the book. I'm just giving you an example. Where it might have been there or pair. And those words often trip up a lot of people. Instead of like PAIR, she might have spelled it PARE. So, homonyms. Everyone hates darn homonyms and synonyms and yes. So, basically, that was pretty much, the issue that I had. But the story itself is good. And so, it is a short read. It's 50 pages long. So I really want you guys to go out there and pick it up because remember, the whole point of this channel is for you, the readers, to go out there and get these books and review them yourself so you can tell me what you think about them. This is not just for me. I mean, I love reading people's books, but it basically is for you to go out there and get these books, support these authors. This is a freebie right now on Amazon.com. And once again, the story is called Pearlene. Oh, Pearlene's. Yeah, because she mentions that she was a pearl. Or he calls her My Little Pearl. And so it's called Pearlene's Love Story Prequel, Pearlene's Gem. So since it's a prequel, I'm assuming that there's going to be some more books to it. And it's by P.L. Van Bibber. Oh, Bieber. Duh. P.L. Van Bieber. And that is the cover of the book. So once again, I want you guys to go out there and pick this up because this is a freebie. So you can't beat that. It's a free read. And then, leave her some reviews, some reviews, and just support other indie authors if you are an author. And if you're a reader, this is awesome because you get a free book. And that's pretty much it. Now, tomorrow, we will be reading a very, very naughty book. It's called Dominated by the author. Markia. It's either Marika, or Marika. Daniels. Sorry. And it's called Dominated by the Author. It is a BDSM concept. Now, you can see that, right? I can't show any more of that, but you can see that. Okay. And so, this will, of course, be tempered because of the channel. Once the channel is over, once we have reached our mark to where, just for you guys who don't know, we need 1,000 subscribers before YouTube will recognize us as a real channel. Until then, you cannot have any sexual content, any profanity, anything that a child might get a hold to or just like offend people. Because once you get past 1,000 subscribers, even if you lose 5 because they didn't care for your content, you still have like 995. I really messed that up. You have 995 subscribers. I was thinking thousands. But anyway, you have 995 subscribers still. So, basically, until then, we can't say things like that. You can say the A word, the B word, I believe. I'm not exactly sure, which is why I try not to use it. I will say the B if a book has that in it. But I know the A word and the D word you can't say because that's on regular TV. Until then, you have to stay away from that. And then if you care about your channel becoming, into the mainstream, then you do. But if you don't, like my channel, my actual author channel, I don't care. I'm saying all kinds of stuff over there. Because I say what I want. And so, but this is our professional one, and I want it to stay that way. So no more boob questions. So I have the camera right here now. And then, basically, that's what we have to do in order to keep the channel pristine. And then we also, for videos that have nothing to do with children, we have to mark them not for children. So we stay within regulations of YouTube. Yeah, it's a lot more complicated than I imagined. Because I've always only did my channel. So I would say whatever I wanted to. Or I would use whatever I wanted, and then I get those little messages from YouTube. But I didn't really care because it was my channel. But here I have to adhere to all of those guidelines if we want our channel to go basically, for them to recognize our channel, we have to stay to that. So now that is pretty much it for to this review. Tomorrow, we will, like I said, we will be reading Dominated by the Author. And then one more time before I'm out of here, let me remind you of this book one more time. It's called Pearlene's Love Story, and it's prequel Pearlene's Gems by P.L. Van Bibber. There's the cover once again. So you guys make sure you go out and pick this up. It's a freebie right now on Amazon. And that's pretty much it. I will see you awesome, lovely people tomorrow with a new review. And remember, if you are submitting to us right now, we are only taking short stories of books 80 pages and under, because I can get to that in like an hour or two. Not even taking 2 hours. I can get to that in like 30 minutes to an hour. I can finish it. So that is what we're doing right now. But once July 10th hits, we will be reading your books. Jen said we're getting a book that's 450 pages, and it's a sci-fi. I am so looking forward to that, because I freaking love me some sci-fi. My favorite genres, if you want me to read your book, is paranormal. Most paranormal. I'm talking like any paranormal. It doesn't matter who the character is, if they're white, black, green, blue, purple, whatever, because it's paranormal. You shouldn't have any issue with reading people of color or white or whatever, because it's paranormal. Freaking werewolves. Okay? Sci-fi, beautiful. You could have green people. I love those genres. Mysteries, if you are a mystery writer, and especially if it has to do with anything like cooking or something like that, because I am a chef. I will eat you up. And so those are my go-tos right there. Paranormal. I skim the top of horror. Remember I said, don't be sending me no Haunting of Connecticut. I'll be in my house. Like, guys, please. Every light on in the house. Do not send me that. That goes to Jen. Okay? So, just little tiny skimming top. And if you don't know what that is, and you are an author out there wanting to submit to the channel, go down through the videos and pick up the video by author Cynthia Noble. She is a horror writer that I personally reviewed. So, go into the video section and scroll till you find author Cynthia Noble, and then you will hear my review of her awesome book, because it was horror, her awesome book, and what I personally can stand. Anything after Cynthia, I'm not touching it. So don't send it to me, send it to Jen. And that's pretty much it. I will see you awesome, lovely people with a new review tomorrow. Bunches, love you, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're new to our channel, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. And then click that little bell. I believe it's up there. Click that little bell, and then basically you'll get a little notice every time we upload a new video. And that is it. Love, peace, bunches.